Caregiving is very difficult, and I have a few clients who have told me they love their parents, but they were completely depleted from caregiving, and that's a difficult place to be. And that's usually where maybe they should seek therapy because we can talk about it. Maybe they're lonely. Caregiving is a lonely business at many times because the parent may not be, have their faculties and whatever that is. So we can talk through that. And it's okay to feel stress. It's okay to feel anxiety when we're caring for somebody else.
Today, we have an exceptional guest, Laura Costello, a licensed clinical social worker with extensive experience in providing therapeutic services to older adults. Laura has been with Total Life and serving older adults as a clinical therapist. Welcome, Laura.
Again, I've worked with families and grandparents. A lot of grandparents are raising their grandchildren. But in Total Life, yes, the clientele is usually 65 or older. But I have found that I love the life stories. They're more extensive than working with adolescents because the older people are, the more story they have. And that's fascinating and interesting and really what they want to work on and what from the past haven't they gotten past and what they want for their future.
And on that note, there are several series of life transitions that happened as we age, starting with retirement, and some of them can be incredibly challenging. Can you share a story about how cognitive behavioral therapy has helped one of your clients manage a significant transition?
Yeah, one of my clients has a lot of anxiety. His father passed away at a young age, and so he's struggling now with looking at possibly retiring, slowing down. And I think that's it. I'm feeling a lot of people who are retirement age or close to it, they do want to slow down, but they're not sure if they can actually do that and what that looks like. So what we work on is what are the fears? What are the challenges? With cognitive behavioral therapy, you're looking at how I think affects my behavior, right? So we work on what the thought process is. Are telling yourself negative thoughts, which may or may not be true. And through therapy, we're going to explore that and turn them, if we can, into positive thoughts. Because look at all that's open. You have more time to do what maybe you've put aside for many years and you want to bring back in. So I think that's my goal with clients who are struggling to transition over to maybe a slower life or maybe not working at all and what that looks like.
And that's great. And so, what are some of the tips and tricks that you go to when you're giving a client a path to thinking about those changes in their routine?
I look at what the client is dealing with and having difficulty with, and then we hone in on why that's difficult. So that's one thing to do. Really, you have to look at where the client is. You have to start where the client is. And then we look at what the client wants for their future. And what I do is say, tell me about what you really liked in the past that you haven't gotten around to lately. And that's why I think that's so important. I used to like art. I used to draw all the time. That was so important. Or I loved music and I just got away from it. I go with, let's look at that. Maybe we can bring that back in. And I think that's a trick because now our minds are thinking already about something that we really like and maybe is a possibility for us. And I think that's important because now I've taken negativity and created, hopefully, positivity along that route.
I love that as an exercise. Several of our older adults are also in some capacity caregiving for another. In those cases, there's stress from your everyday life plus the stress that you've taken on in managing another person's care. What are some CBT exercises that they can use to manage the stress and emotional toll of caregiving?
Yeah, absolutely. Caregiving is very difficult, and I have a few clients who have told me they love their parents, but they were completely depleted from caregiving, and that's a difficult place to be. And that's usually where maybe they should seek therapy because we can talk about it. Maybe they're lonely. Caregiving is a lonely business at many times because the parent may not be, have their faculties and whatever that is. So we can talk through that. And it's okay to feel stress. It's okay to feel anxiety when we're caring for somebody else. It can be overwhelming. And I think, again, with CBT, I think the guilt is there. I shouldn't feel this way. They're my parent. I have to be a caregiver. I can't express that I'm feeling sometimes anger, sometimes resentment, sometimes, again, feeling bad about just not being able to share that with anybody. So through therapy, they can share that with a therapist, and the therapist can work through that with them and saying, hey, Total Life has a lot of great programs that you can take advantage of. You can, whenever you can, don't be afraid to ask for
Right.
help. I think a lot of people don't ask for help, and that's so important to do that.
From a healthier mindset perspective, what are some actionable tips our listeners can start implementing today to improve their mental health and stay engaged?
First, of course, if you're seeking therapy, seek therapy. It's a great tool, as well as getting engaged physically and what that looks like for you. Yoga is wonderful. Any kind of low impact may help. I have a lot of clients that love to swim at the Y, which is inexpensive and a great way to engage with others while exercising, and that always gives you a better mindset.
Absolutely. Staying mentally active is so important as we age. How do you think it can impact the overall health and wellness of older adults we serve?
Staying engaged is most important. If you have friends around you, engage with them, have dinner, have lunch. Very important to talk about things that you like, and you can talk to others and they know what you're going through. And if they're your friends, they know you, which is wonderful. And just stay engaged in your community. If you can walk somewhere, walk. You don't have to run. There are many places. It's nice out now. It's springtime. We're going right into summer here. And yes, get out a little bit. Sometimes if we just leave the house, we feel so much better. And I always say, just enjoy a meal. Sometimes we rush food. Think about what you want to eat and enjoy that. And that could be just such a wonderful, simple experience. Read a book if you haven't had time, or you just think, oh, I don't want to. That can, our minds take a little vacation when we read a book. We enter other characters' lives, and there's so much to be gained.
Those are some amazing self care and engagement tools that people can use. It's so important to come up with ideas, try new things, stay curious. How do you discuss self care with your clients? What advice do you have for our listeners?
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. And that depends on the client and what they're in. If they're already walkers, where do you walk? Okay, what does that look like? Do you look at what's around you? Do you notice the flowers coming up? And then, like the next meeting, I did stop and look at the flowers, and wow, they're really beautiful. I just always walked past them. And I think that's key. Don't walk past everything. Going to a farmer's market, I know it sounds simple, most areas have them, but just looking at produce, and there's flowers at those markets as well. Just engage, look up. Who's waiting on you? Who's around you? Sometimes we just look down so often we don't want, but try to look up and engage and smile. That's always key to bringing someone into your life, and you never know who you can meet and what friendships you can develop by doing just that.
Laura, you've been working with Total Life and supporting older adults navigate their care journey. How has this experience shaped your approach to therapy?
Total Life, I have to say, is a wonderful platform. I really enjoy it. And I think my enjoying it as much as I do really does translate to the clients. And I just feel, again, because we're on a platform with Zoom, you really can connect with clients. And I think it's wonderful to have that kind of technology. We could do phone too, and I have done phone, and that works well too. I don't want to say that it doesn't, because it does, whatever platform is comfortable. But I really feel that you can just connect, and that's the most important thing. We can connect with each other. We see each other, we hear each other, and we connect. And that is absolutely what is needed in the therapeutic process, is the connection.
And for those of our listeners that are listening today and are thinking about whether or not they should try therapy, but feel a little bit scared or anxious about the idea of sharing their stories and their fears with a therapist, what are some of the insights you can give them to make them feel more confident?
I have had that where clients feel very anxious. Oh, I don't know. I'm a little scared. And I always say, I think being a client is very brave. I think it's the brave thing to do. You're working on you. And that is so important. And I think a lot of people don't think they can work on themselves, or they don't have the time, or maybe I should be doing something else. No, you first and foremost is most important. And that's what I tell my clients.
Laura, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this show. Thank you for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences. Listeners, if you're inspired by today's conversation, please visit totallife.com to learn more and sign up for therapy sessions. We accept most insurances, including Medicare. Remember, it's never too late to start taking care of your mental health. Stay mindful, stay healthy, and keep thriving. Until next time, this is Neelam Brar signing off.